This is a 1v2 clutch. I catch the mix of guard and shortly after kill the Reyna, securing the one for my team. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 4 rules I apply wherever I'm in a clutch situation. And I will also go over some of my own clutches, explaining exactly the why behind every decision so you can transfer it into your own gameplay. I am Daniel, I picked 800 Terra Radiant, played in the Valorant Challenges League and have coached over 100 students at this point. So let me quickly go over the 4 main rules around the second round turns into a clutch. When you find yourself in a clutch scenario, your best friend is your brain. That's why a lot of the time you see IGLs who might not be the best shooters, like Bosser for example, actually clutch up a lot of the rounds. Because here it's not only about aim, but also about outsmarting the opponent. The things you need to take into consideration when you find yourself in a clutch are numbers, what side you're on, attack or defense, who's alive and what abilities they have, and whether the bomb will plant it. Understanding and being able to answer these questions is what makes you a good clutch player. So those are the 4 rules. Now let's dive deep into each one of them, starting from the first one, which is numbers. When I say numbers, I mean the numbers of players alive on your team and on the enemy team. This can dictate how you should approach the round or the clutch. The rule is this: the bigger the disadvantage you have, the riskier you can play. So if you find yourself in a 2v4 clutch, then what you need to do is take risks, pick angles, play unpredictably, and go for a play even if you are alone. Obviously the rule works backwards too. So if you are in a 4v2 scenario, then play really safe, together and for trade. The round is practically won, and you don't want to give it to the enemies for free and also tilt the team by losing such a round. When you're down players, if you play passive and wait for the enemies to come to you, you will most certainly lose. They're just gonna clear you together and there's not gonna be anything you can do. So try to catch them off guard before they can even approach the site. The most important thing when you're down mans is isolating as many 1v1s as you can. When you have a number disadvantage, the last thing you want is to face multiple enemies at once. Isolating fights is key to winning a clutch. Another distinction we have to make is the side you're playing on. Attack and defense are completely different sides with opposite goals. In attack, you need to make the spike detonate. In defense, you need to either deny the plant or defuse it. When you find yourself in defense in a clutch scenario, you most likely do not have enough defenders alive to cover all the sides. If you're the only one alive and the attackers haven't planted yet, you have to gamble. Gamble the site you think they're gonna be coming to. Go into a ready position and either wait until they have no time to come to you, so they're 100% on the other side, or until they just plant. If you're lucky, they're gonna come to you. If not, you're gonna just need to retake another side, which is gonna be quite difficult. Something we're gonna be discussing in our next point. You will notice pros gamble a side of the area of the map even in a 3v5 scenario. The bigger the map, the bigger the gamble. You might ask, why gamble in a 3v5 scenario? Well, because 3 people on a map like Heaven, for example, or Lotus, are nowhere near enough to cover all the sides and entries that attack has. So by trying to defend everything, in the end, you're not able to defend anything properly. The best thing you can do is gamble and defend one part of the map. If the attackers hit it, they're gonna lose it. If not, you're probably gonna lose the round in a retake, which isn't gonna change much since in a 3v5 or 2v4 scenario, the round is already practically lost. If you are in attack in a clutch scenario as a 1v2, 1v4 or 3v5, the rule is simple. Play together and go into a side together. Absolutely do not split up. By splitting up, you're literally cutting in half your possibility of winning the round. If you're lucky enough, no one is gonna be on the side you're attacking. Or if there is gonna be someone, most likely it's gonna be one guy or 2 max, depending on the situation you're in. And well, if you walk into a stacked side, then you made the wrong read and should have not attacked the specific side. That doesn't change the fact though that playing together is the way. If you get the side and you're still in number disadvantage, then the situation still doesn't look great. So what you need to do is play before the spike is planted. Don't plant if you have the time. Try to go, push somewhere deeper into city, catch a defender off guard and bring the scenario back from a 2v4 into a 2v2 or a 1v2 into a 1v1. This way, in the afterplant you're gonna have more chances of winning, since before the defenders just needed to play together and trade each other, now it's not enough. They are the ones in a bad situation. What also matters in both attack and defense is who specifically is alive, and that's exactly what is my next point about. What agents are alive is fundamental to understanding how you should approach the clutch, because that one can dictate how the enemies are gonna play and also how you should play. Let's imagine this scenario so you can understand it better. Let's say you're in a 1v1 as a Jett-vs-Omen. You have successfully planted the spike because Omen was on B, and then you decided to go back long. In this precise scenario, going long is a big mistake, because when you're playing versus a smoker, he's just gonna smoke long or the bomb itself, and you're not gonna be able to do anything but try to spam through the smoke, which is gonna reveal your position, and most of the time, you won't even be able to kill the diffuser by spamming. Also, while you're spamming, he can just peek out of the smoke and catch you off guard. That's why in this scenario, when you're playing versus a smoker, you can never go wrong, because he's just gonna smoke you. So what you have to do is either stay side or push somewhere like garage or city and try to catch him off guard. But in the same scenario, if you were the Omen playing and you were versus a Jett retaking, going and playing long is actually quite a good play, because from there it's hard for the Jett to kill you and you can one-way the bomb, which the Jett won't even be able to see you spamming from. And this will deny her the possibility of defusing. I am gonna go over every agent that matters most in a clutch scenario and how ideally you wanna play versus them. Starting from the defense, you have to worry about any type of smoker, since in many positions they can put a one-way, or place stunts on the bomb to deny you defuse. To counter this, you have to push the position and try to kill them. Initiators, since they can drone or prowler to see if you're defusing, or flash and peek you on the spike, in this case what you want to do is you wanna push them aggressively and try to kill them before they're gonna start using their abilities. Sentinels. With good post-plant utility like Killjoy or Deadlock, in this case, as you approach the site, you need to be careful and try to break every utility they might have placed, like mollies or sensors. In attack, you have to worry about smokers. Smokers are the attacker's greatest enemy, since they're just gonna smoke you off, and if you have nothing to put them off the spike like a Sova ultimate or grenade, they're just probably gonna defuse without much problem. Initiators and Sentinels ultimates specifically, since if they have ultimates, they can clear the site easily, and if they also have a smoker, you're just gonna lose the round. In this case, you either wanna fight them before the retake by pushing aggressively, or have a lurk so that even if they get the site, you're still gonna be able, thanks to the lurk, to kill them from the back. Quick thing before we move on. If you're serious about climbing and you want a coach in your corner, that's what Melee 6 is for. A monthly program built around your own gameplay, not a one-off session. Getting in is simple. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. It takes you to the website, you pick the program that fits you best and grab a spot. Spots are limited, so if it's open, take it while it is. Alright, back to it. Now that we know which agent specifically we need to focus on, let's discuss the best way to play each agent in each scenario when you find yourself in a 1vx situations. Starting from the attack in a 1v3 scenario. Your goal in every clutch is to find enemies by themselves and have 1v1 fights, which give you the possibility of having a better chance at winning. First of all, when you find yourself in a 1v3, if you have the time, I suggest you try to get a kill before even plant. Because if you don't, you will find yourself in a situation in which enemies are probably gonna retake together from the same position. It's gonna be basically impossible for you to do anything since they're just gonna trade each other. If you don't have the time, or if you know that there aren't enemies close to you at all, what you need to do is plant and push somewhere. By pushing, you still have the possibility of catching some enemies off guard, and you're dictating when and how the fight is gonna happen. Also, a really important thing is to plant the bomb as open as possible. In a 1v2, you can either stay back and play safer or push after the plant. It depends if you have mollies or flashes to play after the plant, and whether they have a smoker. If you have the possibility for the after plant, you can stay back. If they have a smoker, you need to push and play more aggressively. Maybe hold them from an off angle. It's winnable even though it's difficult. In a 1v1, you actually have the upper hand. If you can't, after the plant, go into an expected position, like for example A site on heaven. And after the plant, as Omen, you can insta-teleport heaven. The enemy will basically never expect you to be there, which is gonna allow you to win the round for free. Playing passive is also an insanely good play, since the only thing you need to do is jumping the bomb, play time and make sure that the enemy is not defusing. The only thing that can go wrong if you're in a 1v1 is versus a smoker, in which case you need to play closer, stay side and hold from an off angle, or even push. A tip for when the enemy touches the spike. Most of the time, the first tap is a fake. You can anyway check it with a jump pick or jiggle pick to make sure, so don't instantly dry pick or panic. Take your time, then play. When it comes to the defense part, it's different and it gets harder compared to the attack when you're down numbers. Starting from a 1v3, there isn't much you can do. If the spike is already planted, you can try to isolate fights and hoping that the enemies will pick you instead of you picking them. However, if the spike isn't planted, then you need to play aggressively. You need to push something, for example down mid, or try to leave behind them. Gambling and stacking a site and holding from an aggressive position, like for example short on A heaven, instead of holding site passively. When enemies are gonna approach short, you might catch them divided. Maybe there will be only one here or no one at all. But if you play site, you will have 9 out of 10 times face all 3 of the enemies at the same time, clearing and training each other. So the situation is gonna be completely unwinnable. Going on with a 1v2, where you actually can play site. Even more if you are a sentinel and they're going into the side where you have your setup. They're literally gonna walk into your traps. You basically never want to be the one picking first. Wait for them to make the mistake. because if they don't, they play by the book, then there's just nothing you can do. Most of the time the enemies will try to play safer, in which case you can try baiting some shots to make sure the other guy picks, giving you a chance of having a 1v1 and winning the round. In a 1v1 scenario, in defense, it's hard. If playing Omen, you can definitely smoke the bomb and start defusing. That's the best thing. The enemy won't see you whether you are defusing or not, so he will need to push you or spam the smoke. What you can do is take the half and tap to wait for him to push into it, or tap directly and wait for him to push you, or even pick yourself to catch him off guard as he's spamming or pushing. However, if you're not playing Omen, then what I suggest to do is push the enemy. Push the most obvious position he should be playing in, based on how the bomb is planted. Trying to defuse the spike isn't the play, since he can just jump pick forever and never give you the possibility of defusing. So you need to try to push him and kill him before even trying to defuse the spike. Alright, now let me show you some of my own clutches, and I'm gonna talk you through exactly what I'm seeing and why I do what I do. First up, I'm in defense. It's a 2v5 scenario, and my Jett doesn't really have a gun. We are both in CT, and I need to find a kill to make it doable. So I decided to pick position by position, and that's how I find Welly. Now, I remember that Leto died some time ago, and in a 2v5, enemies like pushing, so I wanted to check my back real quick. After I hear enemies stepping side, I decide to pick, since in a 1v4 scenario I need to get kills. Also, this might pressure the lurking enemies to run faster, and just as expected, Glove picks and I'm fully ready for it. Since also I hear another guy, I decide to pick him while Glove is stealing her ulti, so that I can have a 1v1 with him while the Glove is ulting. Afterwards, I push the Glove because I don't have a lot of time and I need to get this kill. I'm not sure where the last enemy is, so I gamble ult side and save my stun for elbow, which is exactly where he is. So I stun him and run him down while he's stunned. In the next clutch, I am the attacker as Astra, in the afterplant in a 1v2 scenario. The enemy actually know that I'm tower because I've been spotted. I place my star at the plant so that I can gravity well the spike to deny the enemy defusing. I'm thinking that if I stick around tower, I won't be able to go out since I'm already smoked by Mix, and it's gonna be unwinnable. So I decide to run around them and activate my gravity on the spike touch, and give myself enough time to get behind. Also, I'm running here because they're focused on my teammate and the spike, so they can't really hear me running. I instantly kill the Mix from the back and then bait shots to get the Reyna off the spike. At the end, I picked because I knew she wouldn't have enough time, so it's important for me to make sure she's not defusing. Or in that case, just kill her. Last clutch. I pick out of the smoke to trade my teammate. I hear the guy reloading, so I know he's close. I need to pick up this fight because it's a 1v1. I ult here to give myself time to reload, but also because I was scared of Breach trying to go under B-Heaven, while I thought that he was still B-Heaven. Afterwards, as he aftershocks, I decide to get into an off angle and let him pick me, so that my pressure placement can carry the fight. By the way, I did not mean to die from the aftershock. So to bring everything together, numbers, the more you're down, the more risk you can take, because your only road com is isolating 1v1s. Tied. On attack, you're counting the fight, on defense, you're playing the clock. Who's a lie? The agents left decide they play more than the numbers do, especially the smokers. And is the bomb down or not? Because before the plant and after the plant are two different games. If this helped, subscribe so you don't miss any future content. And if you want me building you an action plan around your own gameplay, the link is in the description. Remember, spots are limited.